What's up, everyone? Welcome to the May 13th edition of DraftKings Tournament Plays presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Adam Scherer. You can follow me on Twitter at ShipMyMoneyDFS. And as a reminder, you get one free month of Awesemo plus Platinum when you sign up and make a deposit at Prize Picks. Be sure to use the code Awesemo to receive a 100% first deposit bonus up to $100. We had a weird MLB slate yesterday, 3-game afternoon slate, 3 or 4-game evening slate, depending on what site you're playing on. But back to normal tonight with a 13-game slate, tons of teams to choose from. I enjoy tournaments on larger slates just because the ownership is obviously lower across the board. You get plenty of options as far as where to go. So as usual, we're going to take a look at 3 of the top tournament stacks and 3 of the top tournament pitchers using the top stacks tool and the top pitchers tool on the Awesemo.com website. Starting with the top tournament stacks on DraftKings. Number 3, the Los Angeles Angels are facing Dalton Jeffries tonight in Oakland. 4.7 implied run total for the Angels. They are projected for about 2% ownership with a 5% chance of being the top scoring stack. The Angels have been one of the best offenses in baseball this year. They have a 124 WRC plus, which leads the league. They have a 178 ISO, which is one of the best marks in the league. They have 2 of the best hitters in the game in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani at the top of their lineup. And then throughout the rest of the lineup, you still have some decent hitters. Anthony Rendon, good apparently from both sides of the plate, but Brandon Marsh, someone that is considered a promising prospect, still, hit or miss in the majors so far, but really just having Trout and Ohtani at the top of the order makes it so you're getting 2 of the best hitters in the game, and then you can just grab 3 other guys to round it out. Number 2, the Houston Astros taking on Josiah Gray tonight in Washington. They have a 5.4 implied run total, projected for 5% ownership with a 9% chance of being the top scoring stack. The Astros have been an above average offense this year as well, 112 WRC plus and 168 ISO for Houston. Josiah Gray does have pretty good stuff. He struck out 26% of the hitters that he has faced this year, but he's also walked 12.2%. He has a elevated 4.23 xFIP and has allowed 1.4 home runs per 9 innings. So plenty of upside tonight for an Astros lineup that has a lot of good hitters in it. And number 1, the Colorado Rockies taking on Zach Greinke tonight in Colorado. Colorado has been a below average offense overall this year. I think that was to be expected. They have a 94 WRC plus, 145 ISO, but this game being in Coors Field certainly makes them look a little bit better. They're projected for about 9% aggregate ownership. They have about an 11% chance of being the top scoring stack on tonight's slate. And Zach Greinke at this point in his career just doesn't miss a lot of bats. So far this year, only a 7.5% strikeout percentage. I, of course, expect that to increase, but I don't expect him to get higher than 16, 17, 18%. And in Coors Field, if you're going to put the ball in play, you have a very, very high ceiling. You can get a lot of extra hits falling in. Greinke has really not been good this year. In addition to the 7.5% strikeout percentage, a 4.87 xFIP for Greinke. As far as the top 3 tournament pitchers on DraftKings, starting at number 3, Nick Pivetta, $7,500 price tag, pitching in Texas tonight against the Rangers. He's projected for about 2% ownership with a 7% chance of being a top 2 pitcher. The Rangers have a 4.5 implied run total. Pivetta is hit or miss, and he really always has been. So far this year, he does have a healthy 24.2% strikeout percentage, but he also has a 4.07 xFIP, and he's allowed 1.35 home runs per 9 innings. He is inexpensive, however, and the Rangers have been a below average offense with only a 90 WRC plus so far this season. Number 2, Logan Webb taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have a 3.8 implied run total. Webb is projected for about 1% ownership with a 9% chance of being a top 2 pitcher at $9,200. Webb's strikeout numbers are down this year, which is a bit concerning, but it's still too early in the year for me to be overly worried about it and not think that he's still a very good pitcher like we saw last season. He's only struck out 18% of hitters, but he does have a very good 3.14 xFIP. The Cardinals are a difficult team to strike out, only a 20.3% strikeout percentage as a whole this year, and a 104 WRC plus. So not the best spot, but Webb's not projected for much ownership here, and he is a good pitcher, as we saw last season, and aside from the strikeout numbers, as we've seen this year as well. And number 1, Yu Darvish, $8,500 price tag tonight in a dangerous matchup against the Braves. Overall this season, the Braves have a 97 WRC plus, but they do have Ronald Acuna back now, so that makes their lineup a lot better. But they also have a 25.2% strikeout percentage. So while there is a lot of power in this lineup, there are also strikeouts to be had. Darvish has only struck out 20.4% of the hitters that he has faced so far this year. I expect that number to come up just based on what we've seen from Darvish in previous seasons. But the salary has dropped a bit as a result to $8,500. The Braves have a 4.1 implied run total. And one positive for Darvish is that aside from one start this year, he has gone at least 6 innings in every start that he has made except for one. So to recap, the top 3 tournament stacks on DraftKings: number 3, the Los Angeles Angels; number 2, the Houston Astros; and number 1, the Colorado Rockies. And the top 3 tournament pitchers: number 3, Nick Pivetta; number 2, Logan Webb; and number 1, Yu Darvish.